Hi, this is Larry Troca, and I'm here today to do a horse training critique of a horse that's being trained for the spin. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with my website or my training programs, my members are given the ability to send me a training video of them schooling their horse, and I'll take a look at it and offer suggestions on how to improve that horse's training or improve the rider's training techniques, okay? And that's what we're doing here today. Now, let me point out the rider of this horse is a pretty good cowboy. You know, he's a part-time horse trainer, but he's never really trained a horse to spin before. He'd like to show this mare in reining competition, and he just hasn't done it before. So he's got a good start on this mare, but he doesn't quite know how to advance her to the next level. So that's what we're going to kind of do here. He has indicated that the mare is sometimes using the wrong pivot foot and sometimes drops her shoulder and makes a few mistakes like that. And he's asked me to be, really critical of his performance here. Because he's dead serious on getting good at training horses. So he kind of wants to hear, where he can improve. And I'm going to try to help him out the best I can. So let's get started. And let me hit the play button and get the video going. All right, so here we are. He's walking this mare in a circle, and he's suppling her up, getting her ready to work on the spin. Notice him bumping her head to the inside. He's asking her real light to give her head laterally, and if she doesn't, he's bumping his nose in there. And that's good. He's doing the right thing. I'd kind of like to see him, as he's walking around, suppling her up, maybe get her, drive her up into the bit a little bit more, get her flexing at the pole, have her head vertical to the ground, and giving her head to the inside at the same time. Kind of get her really, really supple, more than what he's doing right here. Okay, let's see what he's doing. No, so right now, it looks like he's getting ready to go into a spin. Personally, if I was him warming this mare up, I would have spent more time suppling her. I'd get her to bend more. He's asked her to give her head to the inside just a little bit. I'd ask for a greater degree of bend. And like I say, I'd be driving her a little bit so she walked with a little more impulsion. And by impulsion, I mean stepping with a little more deliberate steps. Step, 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 step. And that'll get you better results with the suppling and the control. So let's see what's going to happen here. Let me hit the play button again. All right, so he's getting ready to spin her. Let's see what she looks like. He's going into the spin to the right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's stop right there. So let's talk about that spin for a second. Matter of fact, I'm going to reverse it. Okay. There we are. We're at the start. So let's talk about this spin a little bit. Now, when a horse spins, the horse should be crossing over with his front feet. The outside, this horse is spinning to the right, so his left front leg should be crossing over in front of the right front leg. And when a horse is spinning to the right, the horse should be planting its right hind pivot foot to spin on. Okay, and this horse is kind of, it's crossing over okay part of the time. Right there, that's good. See, she's crossing that left front over in front of the right front, and that's pretty darn good. As we watch her pivot foot, we'll see her kind of use the correct pivot foot for a few steps, and then she'll switch up to the outside pivot foot, use the wrong pivot foot for a few steps. All right, so let's watch a little bit more. Good cross over right there. See her cross over? That's pretty good, not bad. All right. Okay, so now she switched over to the wrong pivot foot. Okay, so let's look at this right here. This is kind of a pretty revealing shot right here. So, you know, the rider has the horse's nose to the right, to the inside of the spin, which is correct, and he's using the outside rein against the horse's neck to move her off the rein and start stepping around in that spin, which is the right thing to do. But I sure would like to see his inside leg move back a little bit and get out of this horse's way. He's actually blocking her from spinning with that inside leg. He needs to let that leg relax and hang in a normal position. I'd also like to see him have his hands, shorten up his reins, have his hands out in front of the saddle a little bit more. You can use the reins and your hands more accurately if you shorten up your reins, extend your hands out in front of that saddle. That'll give you a little bit more control and be a little more accurate with the way you use the reins. Okay, so let's continue on here. So here again, she's crossing over pretty good. You know, his inside leg is kind of shoving forward. I don't like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So those few steps, he used the correct pivot foot, and now she's switched over to the wrong pivot foot. Okay, so now he has stopped the spin right there and thrown his legs out away from that mare and stiffened them up. So I think he's using that as a stopping cue. I don't care for that, but you know what? If it's working for him, you know, hard to argue with it. But I'd sure like to see something a little more subtle than that. Okay, so looks like he's going to spin the other way. Let's see how he's starting here. Okay, so he's got his outside leg close to the horse. That's good. Because when he uses this outside rein, he should reinforce that rein with his outside leg. He's going to spin to the left, so he should be using some right rein against her neck and some right leg in her rib cage. Looks pretty good. Okay, she's kind of losing herself there. So the horse is kind of kicking her butt out now, so she's not really wanting to use the correct pivot foot. She's kind of kicking her butt to the outside and using the wrong pivot foot. Okay, she's really did it bad there. She's kind of hopping. See her kind of hop? So right there, those last few steps, you see the mare kind of hop up in the front end? That's because for a few steps she was crossing under and crossing over. Whenever they cross under in the front end, they hit their legs together and it causes the front end to stop or slow down and kind of hop. And whenever the front end stops or slows down, that's what allows the rear end to kick out. Okay. Okay, again, he stopped her and stiffened up his legs and moved them off her. So let's kind of critique this right here and kind of talk about a solution. So again, you know, he's got her kind of doing the basics, you know, okay, you know, but we need to refine it. We need to make it a little more correct, a little smoother. Now, what I would do the instant this mare starts using the wrong pivot foot or kicks her butt out, I would drive out of that spin into a small circle. And let me clarify this. You're in a spin, the instant the horse kicks its butt out or uses the wrong pivot foot, you need to drive forward out of that spin at a trot into a small circle. And when you drive forward into that small circle, you should drive forward and frame the horse up, collect the horse up, face vertical to the ground, nose to the inside. Okay, and driving that horse out of that spin creates impulsion, causes the horse to drive and push off. And if a horse, you know, learns to drive and push off, they will automatically learn how to use the correct pivot foot. That's just the way it is, okay? So let's, and I also should say, when you leave that spin and drive off into a circle, you keep going the same direction that you were spinning, okay? He was spinning to the left. He should have drove out of there into a small circle to the left.